So someone who's been a fan of like multiple pieces of media throughout their life and has also been on the internet for quite a long time, you kind of pick up that people really like to take two things unrelated to each other and just kind of like mush them together until you make a half original, half unoriginal amalgamation of the two pre-existing ideas. A lot of times you see that with people doing like the little style challenge where they draw different kind of characters and different kind of styles or whatever. A lot of times you get with OCs, well, they'll take one character and put it in a different setting. And honestly, I think that's like one of the more things I like doing. So I think I'm going to try to do some of that kind of stuff. Today, I have actually a really funny idea that I thought about would be interesting. I've been getting real nostalgic lately for like the old games I used to play when I was a kid. So I've been going back and playing a lot of the old Nicktoons crossover games. My personal favorite being Attack of the Toy Bots. I think the Wii version is superior, but I played on like Wii, DS. I even played the Game Boy Advance version, which is not very well designed because you have to lead each character through the stage one after each other, which is pretty ridiculous when you think about it. But, I mean, granted, those games aside, I think they were a lot of fun when I was a kid. I really enjoyed them. So I want to kind of like do something with that passion I feel for those characters in like a unique way that like maybe only I could do. So for today, I thought I was the only person stupid enough to say, hey, what if we took these silly little cartoon characters made for little baby children and put them in a game with vast theming around psychology and religious theming, and we should see what kind of happens with that. I think it was pretty fun. So pretty much, I'm just putting Nicktoons characters into personas as bosses. I think for like my design influences, I mostly got off of like Persona 4. I think more than anything, because I've been playing 3 and 4 recently. I beat 5 a while ago. I still need to. I'll probably go back and play 1 and 2 eventually. I'm not completely staving them off just because they're old. I promise. But I just drew them as like little bosses because I think in Persona the bosses always look like they look kind of cartoony in ways. Like I remember Yukiko, she was literally just a bird with a girl head, and that's pretty silly when you think about it. So I thought it'd be fun to try and like take these characters, like a whole visual character traits, and just try to spread that out in like a weird non-humanish kind of form, if that makes any sense. I think I had a lot of fun with it, so I hope you guys will enjoy it too. So, yeah, let's hop right into it. Alright, so for the first one, we gotta start with the OG, the SpongeBob. Alright, the old fry cook of the Krusty Krab. He's pretty much been like Nickelodeon's mascot ever since he came out, because he was like their most successful one, but I doubt saying that is going to surprise any of you. Everyone knows who SpongeBob is. So I figured might as well start with him first, since he's the easiest to get through. Yeah. So I pretty much just for him, I immediate thought was just like, oh, he's a little square boy, square Bob, square pants. You know what else is a square? His grill. Make him a grill. Make him get a big old burger arm. He big burger boy. Yeah, I kind of wanted to like try and turn the gross factor up on SpongeBob a little bit. I made him like this rusty kind of looking fry, like his grill from the Krusty Krab, just all kind of rusted on places, and it looks like his face a little bit, where he's got his nose and the switches are his eyes. He's got like a little robot teeth mouth on the bottom. I figured that would be like pretty obvious, and like I guess within his character, if you were to take like the most negative aspects of SpongeBob and turn that into like his shadow, I guess you could say. So I was just trying to work for that, and then naturally the Krabby Patty meat got involved and became a big old monster arm. And I figured, well, hey, if SpongeBob's gonna fight, he might as well fight with his big old spatula. So I was like, okay, SpongeBob with a big burger arm holds a spatula and he hits you with a spatula. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go. That's it. I mean, it was pretty straightforward in all honesty when I was thinking about it. I think SpongeBob was definitely one of the easiest ones to think about because, I mean, it's all right there. It's spelt out for you, really. And then I tried thinking about, like, oh, Persona boss, how does he fight? And I was thinking, he could use, like, he could use his spatula, smack you around with as primary weapon. I was thinking he could also probably summon little burger walkers that could they could probably attack, and I imagine they'd also inflict hunger just as a form of irony, I guess. Yeah, I really turned up the grease factor on his big old burger arm. I was trying to make it look kind of gross and grimy, because a lot of times in Persona, when they try to like they try to go for a theme, they go really hard on it. So I was trying to go with like the max kind of like this is definitely a safe health code violation more than anything. I think it turned out all right. I got to experiment with how to like portray rust a little bit. That's something I honestly never had to do much before. So I ended up just using a splatter brush to kind of like give some texture to it. I think in some spots I could have used more, but I think overall it looks all right. Like, you know, looking at it, you could mostly tell that it's rusted. And I also kind of like did that because it would look like his little like sponge hole spots. I actually never mind. I don't want to say those words in that order anymore. I'm very sorry I said those things like that. I don't want to anymore. But they're in the video now, so there's not much I can do about it, is there? Yeah, like I said before, I mostly base these designs around like the Persona 4, Persona 3 style like bosses, where it's like a character's traits amplified to the worst extremes. You know, I think especially you can see that in the backgrounds of the drawings. I think like if you had to give like, I know like a lot of the times the Persona games, they kind of like base the bosses around like, oh, 7 deadly sins. Like, this is original. I guess you could kind of like see this as maybe gluttony or like workaholism or overworking or anything like that. Like an over-dedication. Anything like that I think would like apply to SpongeBob. Maybe not the gluttony as much. That might be a bit of a stretch. I guess you could technically classify gluttony as just the overindulgence in anything, which could also be work. So I guess it could technically still work, maybe? I'm not sure. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy. I was thinking for the stage, you know, he could just be in like the Krusty Krab, kind of like, it could be like a labyrinth of sorts where you have to like maneuver through different corridors and hallways that are all kind of like the same or randomly generated, but they all look the exact same or whatever. But if it was more like concrete design, you could have like rooms based around, or you could have like areas based around the different rooms we see like in the shows. Like I know they have like the bathroom, which looks kind of funny. You know, you have like Mr. Krabs' office and you get like a bunch of treasure in there, but it's like a mini boss. You could do something like how in Persona 5 with the bank dungeon. You could have like a big main open area where all the like people are eating, and you could have that be like crawling with enemies that you have to get around, or you could just go through there if you're like buff enough, I guess. I think a lot of the enemies in there you could based off like SpongeBob's friends, like you have like a Decabra, like Patrick. I don't remember if there's any like a squid, like a kraken or anything like that, or like a crab or anything kind of like demon in the series you can use. But you know, anything like that would like work here, I guess, and stuff that would also fit with like the theming, I guess, of like, I guess gluttony you could say, because it is like a fast food burger establishment. It was like a Baden. I think it was a Baden, the real big one. Like that looks like the evolved form of slime, but has nothing to do with slime. All right, I think that's everything I got for this SpongeBob drawing. I guess we can go ahead and hop right into the next one. All right, this is the Jimmy segment, the Jimmy Kimmel segment. All right, guys, welcome to the Jimmy Kimmel segment. So here we got Jimmy Neutron, Boy Genius. I did promise myself that when I got to this segment, I would have to bust out the Carl Wiesner impression. I've been scared of debuting that for a while now because I don't know what it means. Like, sometimes you can, like, do an impression so good that it, like, means something about you as a person. So when you can perfectly bust out a Carl Wiesner and talk about Jimmy's mom and sing any Guns N' Roses song, it makes you think a little too much, you know? And that scares me quite a lot. And I hate the fact that I can do this, because I think it says something about me as a person, and I don't like that. But let's forget about that. We got Jimmy Neutron, but his brain's in a light bulb, lava lamp jar. Yeah, so for this one, I just kind of took Jimmy's head shape. Forgive me if I say Timmy during this segment at all. I'm probably going to a few times. But I took Jimmy's head shape, and I like kind of like turned that into like the glass, like the lava lamp kind of test tube shape. And I put like his big old Mega Mind brain in there. I gave him some little walkers so he could walk around on. I'm pretty sure this was in an episode. Ooh, you know what? I think I wasn't thinking about it when I was drawing this, but I think this one's I subconsciously based it on the little like the aliens from like the movie. I think they appeared in the show a few times. I think they were little guys with brains in jars or something like that, or like little slime dudes. I think this might have been subconsciously based on that without even thinking about it, which is a pull to the show. So we can all just pretend that it was on purpose, and I'm a smart guy. Yeah, here we just got Jimmy, brain in a jar. He's on walkers, little walkie legs, walkie slush, walk around, little Kool-Aid flavored in the brain. I figured he could just kind of like, he could shoot little lasers out to do damage. Maybe he could have like when he reaches like half health, he could have like a big laser attack where he hits the entire party. It'd probably do like some burn damage. I think he could also have like hypnosis kind of effect where he could just hypnotize one of your party members and they'll just like attack randomly one of your... They'll attack anyone randomly across the arena or whatever. And for another action, he can also call in his Gutbot, which obviously based on his dog Goddard, which I don't know if I'm saying that right or not. I think it was named after a scientist or something though. But I figured the Gotbot could use the same laser blast as Jimmy, or maybe even have an ability where he can repair Jimmy in some way, but he can't repair himself. So it'd be like kind of a challenge of having to take out the Gotbots before they can swoop back in and pretty much save Jimmy from the brink of death. Another one, if you're trying to base these on sins, you could say that this one's pridefulness, because Jimmy literally has a giant head about himself. So that'd be pretty straightforward. For the stage, obviously Jimmy's lab is a great place to start. You could have many of the shadows be based on like the mechanical looking designs of the demons in the SMT series, like a Metatron or the new Fafnir design. Anything like that really I think would work out, because like it just fits with the whole aesthetic of Jimmy's lab being filled with machinery and different automations walking around ready to attack at any given point. Yeah, I don't have much to say on this one. It was a pretty straightforward design. I'm pretty happy with it. I really like how it turned out. I'm pretty sure I messed up Goddard's head. I did not use any references for these, so I just kind of go on instinct really on them. But I think they ended up turning out all right. I like Jimmy's head thing. I think that was like the winner out of all these. Really, drawing his brain was a little bit more difficult than I thought it was going to be, just because I tried to get like the brain lines right, so it didn't look like he had a smooth koala brain. I think that was the hardest part out of all of it, trying to work on. I did like how his background turned out with the little rocket ships in it, and I tried to use the gradient on most of them to like at least add some interest to the background, So I think I ended up liking this one decently enough. So yeah, I don't think I have anything else to add to this other than that if this was in a Persona game, then Jimmy's mom could be a romance option, which would certainly make someone happy. Alright, and here's our last one for today. I mostly made this one for my little brother and my stepdad because they both really like the Ren and Stimpy series, so I went ahead and put Stimpy in as a boss, because I figured like his larger frame would definitely be more intimidating than Ren's little body. But I still incorporate him into the moveset, so you guys will see him. Yeah, so for Stimpy, I figured he could just be like a kind of big brute kind of stereotype. Real tanky, slow with hard-hitting attacks. So I think he could use like a tongue slap move, and he could use his claws as an attack. I think his tongue slap would maybe I think he could use that to confuse your party members, kind of like the similar effect to Jimmy's hypnosis, where they'll just not be sure which one to attack around the arena. So they might end up attacking anyone on the side of the stage. This idea actually kind of came from a little brother. He could also summon Ren as like a little guy, his little buddy to walk around. Originally, I was just going to have the one Ren, and he was going to be like a little pissed off little baby. And he would just like hit you real hard and be real mean all the time. And then my brother reminded me that they had this silly little kind of like Rick and Morty mouth kind of thing where it droops down, and I thought it was so funny I had to incorporate it. So I had an angry Ren and a despair Ren, and I wanted them to have different actions during a match. So like angry Ren, he would attack and he could buff Stimpy up. But the Despair could only use debuffs on your party members. I think he would just inflict despair, considering that's what he's named after, really. Which I think that makes them run away. Which that would be a pain to balance, but we could always change what status effect he gives them. It really isn't too big a deal. Yeah, if you wanted some alternate attacks for them to use, you could always include some kind of gross out moves. Considering that was one of the things that the show was really famous for, is just being really nasty. So I'm sure Stimpy could have a thing where he digs up his nose and pulls out a booger or something like that. Something real gross. I mean, I gave him a big enough nose for it, so I think it would work. Yeah, I think Stimpy, he was fun to work on. Because I got to just kind of play around with his natural proportions a lot more. So I knew I wanted to focus on giving him big hands, a big nose, and big tongue, and make him really wide. And then I think Stimpy also had a big outward belly button. So I tried to accentuate that just because I thought it'd be a funny little design aesthetic. And I really liked it. Oh, God. Take a shot in my videos every time I say aesthetic. You'll be dead after the first 3 minutes. Yeah, I do. Now that I'm looking at it, I wish I gave Stimpy a little bit more personality in his design. Because right now he's just a big sleepy giant. Which I guess kind of works for him and his whole kind of mood. I know normally he's more of an idiot more than anything. So I figured that would probably be better if I had to redo it. I've tried to make him look more stupid, I guess, more than anything. And right now you could argue that he's just in a blissful ignorance kind of state. Water. I need it. Yeah, I guess if you had to give Stimpy a sin, I have no idea what he'd be. I'm going to be straight on this one. I mean, I guess he would just be an idiot. I guess a sloth, maybe? I think my original design, I guess, sketch document thing I was using, I just marked him down as imbecile. So I guess, he would just be Stimpy the imbecile. Yeah, for their area, I figured it could be based on a living room. I figured that would just be, the most neutral area for them, since they kind of, they don't have, a set location, really. They just kind of meander about in different places. The living room labyrinth could just have references to different episodes all around. Little figures and posters on the wall and all that. I think it'd be funny if you had an area that was locked off by a door you had to find keys for, labeled adults only in reference to the adult party cartoon. The infamous adult party cartoon, might I add. Yeah, I mostly just try to keep it simple on this one, so I don't have too awful much to add on this one. I think I did have fun making all of these, or at least this one. I had fun on this one. I had fun on most of them. I was just trying to keep it condensed to this one drawing. But I had fun with this one. I think this one was, my initial sketches, this was my favorite, I think. And it still is. It still's up there. I think all of them are a little bit of a winners to me in their own way. So yeah, I think that's it for the Stimpy drawing. Alright. It's been 3 different original Nicktoons all turned into Persona bosses. Pretty straightforward video, pretty short one by comparison to last one, what I think might normally be the average length. I don't know, I'm still working on that. But yeah, it was straightforward idea, straightforward video, pretty straight to the point. I had fun making all these. I think they all kind of they were fun. I got to experiment some with them. I definitely had fun trying to fit them into the Persona kind of identity, I guess you could say, and make them appear as they would maybe fit into a game itself. If you want to see any more Nicktoons, you can let me know. I'll see what I can do with them. If you want to see any of these turn into personas and their users, I think that would be fun too. I don't know, it might be a little cringe having to turn SpongeBob into a little anime twink boy. That'd be kind of cringe. I've seen that a lot. I don't know how people justify that to themselves. But, if you guys want to see anything like that, let me know. If you got any ideas, anything you want to see, let me know. I'll take a peek at it. Any games, TV shows, whatever. I've got a few ideas up my sleeve right now that I'm kind of working on. It's been kind of difficult picking out the ones that I want to do, because I'm trying to pick out the ones that people will want to see with not current events, but current stuff. I'm thinking about making a Zelda video. Mega Man just had his big anniversary. Street Fighter 6 is coming out. So I got some stuff to work around, boost that algorithmic engagement up, the YouTube grind set. So yeah, that's another video for me. I think I've said my piece on this one. So, like I said before, like if you like, don't like if you don't like it. Subscribe, bell, like, comment, share with your friends. I don't know. Paint the YouTube URL onto a goat and release it into a city. That's a good marketing scheme. Because there's no such thing as bad marketing. And on that clever piece of information, I'll be signing out today.